Hello friends, today we are going to make our buffalo skull camp circle project. For this project you need a piece of white paper, you need an octagon tracer, you need a pencil with an eraser, and you need a Sharpie. So we're going to get started, and to get started with this I'm actually going to have you turn your paper up and down the tall way, and we're going to take that octagon tracer, making sure the flat part of the octagon is parallel to the flat part of our paper. So I'm going to put that right in the middle here, and I'm going to trace all the sides of the octagon except for that very top part. And if you forget and you get all the way around the outside edge, that's okay. You can just erase it when you're done. But otherwise we need that little space. That's our opening of our camp circle. So on all of these edges, you're going to draw our teepee shape. So make sure when you draw your teepee, you start with that X. And to be historically accurate about our teepee, we want to have that smoke flap at the top. So here's what that teepee looks like. And I like to turn my paper as I'm drawing because it's a little easier for me to envision what that teepee looks like if I'm looking at it from the right angle. So using your pencil, you can get those 7 teepees in, and those 7 teepees stand for the 7 Ocetis. So doing your best to keep them all about the same size if you can. We're gonna sketch that step in. And one more here, and then we're ready to start drawing our buffalo. So once I have my teepees in here, I'm going to turn my paper up and down the tall way again because it's just a little easier for me to draw that buffalo skull. So right underneath the teepees, I'm going to start with a curved line. This is the top of our buffalo skull. Next to that curved line, we're going to draw a short straight line on each side, just like that. Now moving on to the horns, my line's gonna curve up towards the camp circle, and then when I come down, I need to make sure that I'm coming down on the outside edge and making sure to leave a little bit of space. That's that thickness of your buffalo's horns. Now let's do that on the other side. So coming up, when I come back down, making sure I come back down on the outside, leaving that little bit of space right there. Nice job. All right, next step. We're gonna right here draw a letter C, and on this side, a backwards letter C. Moving on to the eye sockets, underneath that C, I'm gonna draw kind of a lumpy looking oval, and repeating that on the other side as well, lumpy looking oval. Now we're gonna get all the way down to the bottom of our skull here, so I want you to think that this is gonna get a little bit skinnier down towards the bottom. And the edge of the buffalo's face has a slight wavy line. So I'm gonna start right here by that eye socket, wavy line, coming towards the middle, and I'm gonna end with a bump. Same thing on the other side. Wavy line, getting a little smaller and ending at a bump. Nice job. So right here at the bottom, there's a little division kind of between the inside of the skull and the front of the skull. So I'm going to draw a little bumpy line right here. And underneath the bumpy line, there's another kind of lumpy oval and a skinny lumpy oval on that side. All right, heading back up to the top, we're going to draw a line from the top of the buffalo's skull. And I'm going to stop at the bumpy line that I drew. Once I get there, kind of up here towards the eyes, I'm going to draw the top of a triangle shape. And then I'm going to bring that triangle line also down to the bumpy line that I drew. A few more steps, friends. You're doing awesome. Up here, there's some little openings on the skull that look like an upside down teardrop or raindrop. And then to complete our last detail for our buffalo skull, all you need to do is draw a curved line here and a curved line here. So now we have our camp circle at the top, We have our buffalo skull, and just so you know, for our final product, it's actually going to be facing this way because the camp circle always opens on the east, towards the rising sun. So our next step, once we have that ready to go, is we are going to start tracing with our Sharpie. So I want you to trace every single line that you drew. Now this can take a little bit of time, so make sure not to rush this part of the process, taking your time to get over the top of all of your lines, the lines on your teepees on your camp circle, and then also working on those lines on your buffalo skull. Now you'll notice, if you look at my example here, there are a couple spots that we're going to fill in with our Sharpie. So after you've traced over all of your lines, I want you to fill in with your Sharpie those teepees up here on your camp circle. I also want you to fill in the eye sockets and those two little teardrop shapes on the front of the skull, and then also filling in those little details at the bottom of the skull. If you want, when you're finished, you can also add some cracks with a thin or really skinny Sharpie, and you can always add a little shading detail in a few spots to help make that look a little more realistic. So you can watch the rest of the video and see the end of the camp circle project. Way to go, everybody!